Special thank you to Seed and Stone Cidery and Lucky Buzz Meadery for sponsoring the show today. They help to make this show possible and supply us with the occasional beverage when we're out there. They've got 10 taps full of meads and ciders made right there in-house. They've also got all sorts of awesome events going on, including an open mic almost every single Thursday where you can come out and show your musical talent. So all you songwriters out there, stop out and grab a cider or a mead and tell them that the Songwriters Couch and the Patrick Joanne Band sent you. Again, Seed and Stone Cidery right here in Rochester, New York. Go out and visit them and let them know we sent you. Thanks, guys.
All right, welcome to episode number 28 of the Songwriters Couch. Just making sure our sign is actually on in the background here. I believe it is. And on today's show, we have a special guest. Very, very special guest. But before we move on to our special guest, I want to thank our sponsors for making this show possible, everyone that watches, and although Allie doesn't know this, I did happen to, on the last episode, finally put the like and subscribe graphic down at the bottom. So that
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, that is now
hit the notification bell.
Yes, the notification bell. That's right. That's right. And so thank you, everyone, for watching. Anyone who has liked or shared or commented, it really helps the algorithms because they don't like to spread the word about this sort of thing unless you're paying them to spread the word about it. So it's really up to you guys and our sponsors to help spread the word about the show and get all these amazing songwriters and artists and comedians and all these cool guests that we have on there. Their long overdue moment in the spotlight.
Oh my God!
And expose them to the world and have you guys listen to some of it and find out about great new local and not so local artists. So on today's show, we have my good friend Ryn Noel. All right.
Wow. I feel like I shouldn't clap for myself.
No, you should always clap for yourself. Yeah, sometimes you'll be the only one that claps for yourself, especially when I have a show. I'm usually the only one that's clapping. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the lovely people at home, Ryn, and tell them what you do, where they can find your stuff right up front.
Oh my God, yeah, right? So my name is Ryn Noel. I am a non-binary creative from Rochester. I do original songs, I do covers, I do poetry, kind of a little jack of all trades type of thing. My Instagram, I'm not very active on it, but it's Ryn Noel Creatives. I think you should be able to find me on YouTube as well at Ryn Noel or Ryn Sparks. Still a work in progress as far as changing the name and doing all of that kind of fun stuff. But
And I love the shirt.
Thank you.
And are both of the earrings dinosaurs?
They are dinosaurs.
One is a T-Rex, and then what's the other one? Is it a Triceratops?
I don't know. We just watched Jurassic Park, and I don't even know. Yeah.
Is it what number are they up to on the Jurassic Parks?
God, I don't know. This was the
like
first one that I've seen.
You'd think they'd blow up the whole island, and that would be the end of it. But I guess it doesn't. Life finds a way.
Yeah. Right.
Finds a way. Life finds a way. All right. So we're gonna get right into our what do you want to call it? Skit. Yeah, but it's called something, right? A bit?
A segue.
I don't know. A segue. I like an icebreaker. An icebreaker. So it's the two truths and a lie. And let's see if I can come up with like a little theme song. Two truths and a lie. It was perfect. It was perfect.
I love that.
First time. Didn't practice that at all.
One take.
Can you imagine? All right, Ryn. You had all of 30 seconds to figure out.
I had so much time to think about this.
Because we do a lot of preparation for the show and tell our guests 5 minutes before they go on air that we're going to...
Yeah, by the way, you have to think about two truths and one lie.
We're going to do this. That's right. You need to come up with all this stuff and everyone's going to be watching in anticipation of what the two truths and a lie will be. So are you ready to go?
Oh, I haven't thought about a lie.
Okay. Well, those...
Actually...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got one?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I do.
All right, so let's do a little drum roll. All right, let's hear let's hear all three.
Okay. I have never been out of the country. I lost the one. My grandfather was in World War II. And I've never had a dog.
Those are all very... I feel like I would know if you had been out of the country. I feel like we would have maybe talked at some point. You know what? I may not have your mic on. What's that? Is it 5? Allie? What is the number on there? It says input. One second. I just got to turn your volume up. Get Allie going. What do you think, Allie? What are you?
Follow-up.
Yeah, I got.
I don't think we're allowed to ask follow-up questions into a truth and a lie.
I don't have the wireless mic system turned on, so unfortunately you don't. Just yell it. Yeah.
How old are you?
25.
I'm going grandfather in World War II.
I see what you did there.
Patrick.
But I may be
So,
wrong.
never been out of the country. Grandfather, World War II. Never had a puppy. Or dog. That's very specific, too. Right, full-grown dog.
We're not
opposed to
allowed
a
to
puppy.
ask follow-up questions.
I know, I'm formulating, and I'm going to go with...
You're cooking. You're cooking right now.
I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with the dog.
I have had a dog.
Damn it. So, but you might not be right either,
I might not, you know.
right? No. Oh, no.
I have never been out of the
'cause
country.
that's the lie. I lost. I already
You lost. And you lost.
Damn it. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
My grandfather was in World War II.
Really?
Yeah.
So, well, how old? Why do you say that? Why did you say no? Because you asked Ryn.
Well, because most people that are around my age have... I shouldn't say that, but
Do you
most
have
people...
older siblings?
I do have older siblings. I also have older parents. My dad is... Oh, God, I don't know how old exactly he is. He's in his 60s, and my mom would be in her, like, late 60s at this point. I believe that she would be 66 in July.
What's your close older siblings? Or?
Yes, I am the youngest.
Oh, so you're the youngest.
I am the baby.
All right. So, what's the difference in age between you and your closest?
My sister is 27.
Okay, so I was going to ask if you were super spoiled, but if you're that close together, probably not.
No.
I would say, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't feel you were spoiled when you're...
Not really.
You were younger?
Not really. I think there was such a strange age difference because my two older siblings, I have 3 siblings in total. My older brother and my older sister have a different father, and there's about like 12 to 15 years of an age difference between myself and them.
Are any of them artists or creatives?
Yeah.
Anyway?
My oldest sister, Megan, she has her own, I'm going to plug her really quick.
Do it.
She has a company that's called Moonlit Fabrications. I can speak words. She does a lot of like woodworking, wood
We don't
cutting.
encourage word speaking. In this
Words?
podcast. It's
English? What?
Mostly slurring.
Mostly
yeah.
slurs. Yeah. Not the bad slurs, I promise.
Like slurring words. Yeah.
Slurring words, not slurs. Anyway, Megan has a company called Moonlit Fabrications. She does a lot of woodworking, and she does different she does a lot of different things. She does like signs for people. She's had little gnomes. She's got like a bunch of shit. Like her stuff is on Facebook, so look her up.
Yeah.
Support her. She's great.
Well, we could post the link too if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She deserves it.
So will she do like custom
Yeah, I think so.
wood things?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
I don't know how much she charges for it, but
Yeah.
she's definitely done stuff for me. She makes the last time we went over for Christmas, she had like some different earrings and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, those are cool." She's like, "Just take one if you want."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So it does kind of run in your family then, probably. That
A little bit,
you're
yeah. The
making
creativity,
things
yeah, I suppose.
Do you find that you need to create?
That's a good question, and it depends on which version of myself that you ask and when. Because right now, not really. Not really. I have been pretty content with not creating, but there's also, I've been in such a creative block since like around the pandemic that there's this desire to create, but when I do it chokes. It's not quite there. And like when I produce, it's not exactly what I envision in my head. And there's also that portion of feeling like you have an audience, or you're supposed to have an audience, and that because of that, your content is supposed to be good and it's supposed to be up on par all the time. You know.
Well, this podcast is proof positive that it doesn't have to be on par ever.
You can be dog shit. It's totally fine.
No, we produce high quality content here on the Songwriter Couch. No, but I think that most creatives have those kind of moments in their lives, and probably lots of them, where you feel like you are either producing a lot of shit work, or it's like not your best stuff, or you feel like you're just not getting the most passionate of I guess art or whatever it is you're creating out. I have those moments a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I do anyway is excuse me.
Gesundheit.
I sneeze. But I feel like
gotta let the burst out. The burst of energy. The burst of creativity.
I start to work on like some of the marketing part of it more during those moments, especially lately.
Okay.
Like if I have those lulls, I tend to be like, okay, how can I brand myself then better? Because it does take some creative juices,
Yeah.
But it's not like writing a song or creating, like writing poetry or something that's a very emotional thing. It's more of an aesthetic, like, okay, I like the way this looks, or
I really admire you for being able to do that, because that's something I struggle with a lot, is like the algorithm and being able to combat that, because I feel like that's something that creatives right now, like especially in this day and age, have a lot of trouble with. It's like a big fight of like having to constantly be promoting and sharing and doing all of these things to make sure that you're constantly up there and you're in people's heads. You know what I mean? I know you just had Sally Louise on pretty recently,
second time.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you had her on twice. Yeah. That's awesome. She's wonderful. But that was something that I just saw her recently. She performed at Love and Cup, and she was saying something about that, where she's like, I have to post like every single day to be able to be consistent. And
yeah, it's almost that's kind of what I'm saying. It's it's like just doing work to keep momentum happening, even though I'm not necessarily creating, necessarily art. It's like the work of doing it keeps you in that forward moving state. What have you been doing to have you been actively trying to get out of the rut, or are you just kind of embracing it, or what's the
here and there? It's again kind of depends on the day. Something that helps me a lot is just kind of having to push through that rut and through the creative block. It's like you can't really create anything good if you haven't created in a long time. You know what I mean? You're going to have to create some shit first, you know? So I've been I've written a couple of poems in like the last couple of weeks. I just try to play music when I can. I haven't written anything in a while as far as like songwriting goes, but that's also in another story of like techniques and, kind of where I'm at in my skill set with music as a whole.
Do you feel as though you compare yourself to
oh my God, yeah.
Other?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like my partner is an incredibly talented musician. Most of the people that I know are very talented.
I'm not familiar.
Who's my partner? Matt Plessinger, Matty P.
Yes, we've had him on the show before. For those who remember, yes,
he's sitting in the corner.
Fantastic guitar player. Yes.
Yeah, he's super talented. Matt actually talked about our friend Noah when he was on the podcast with you. Noah is incredibly talented. the show that Matt actually just played, I'm gonna plug you right now, apparently.
Matt's sitting right over there too.
He just played a show at Love and Cup. It was himself, Sally Louise, and Jackson Cavalier. Arguably, honestly, the most fucking stacked local show that I've seen in a long time. It was incredible. But those are 3 different people who have been working on their craft for decades, and have found their niche and have found their spot in their really interesting different flavors of musicians, and I think for me it's hard because I'm self-taught and I've been teaching myself since I was 15 or 16 years old, and I haven't found like where I want to go, and some of the technical things are really difficult for me to learn on my own, and I think people have tried to teach me and it just goes over my head.
That's me too.
So I'm the 4-chord guy, unfortunately. Not really the 4-chord guy, but that's what it feels like for myself, is like I haven't gotten past that.
Do you feel like you're putting pressure, like you're putting pressure on yourself to be more of a technical musician than you have interest in doing sometimes?
Probably.
I feel that way too, and when I start to feel that way, I'm a child of I was a teenager in the 90s, right? So days of Nirvana and all those grunge bands and stuff. And I remember there's an interview with Kurt Cobain, and he talks about like not knowing any of the chord, like what the chords are he's playing, or any of that stuff. And people have their strong opinions about Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and how good they are and whatever.
Yeah.
But I find myself falling back where I'm technically not as adept as some other musicians are. Having a band helps with that sort of thing, because I do have some very technically sound people in the band that can be like, where does this go from here? What chord is this I'm playing when I'm playing it? When I've written the song already, I don't even know what chord it is. But I find allowing myself to not necessarily worry as much about the technical aspect of it as much as what it feels like.
Yeah, and just enjoying.
Like.
Yeah, and just enjoying yourself. That's something that I've been having to just kind of let myself do lately too. It's just like, play songs, have fun.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think especially when new songwriters, new musicians and artists and stuff are coming out, there is a little bit of pressure, especially if you're going to something like an open mic or you're performing with other musicians. Like you compare yourself, or you see them perform and you enjoy their performance, and there's this thing in the back of your head, oh, I'm not as good as they are. Even if they may be thinking the same thing about you that you're thinking about them when you go out and perform, right? And Matt's smiling over it, because he probably felt the same exact thing, even though technically, very sound. I'm sure Matt has been on stage and I wish I could be a little bit more like that, or I wish, I don't know, because I've done that myself too, where I'm very confident in what I do when I play or whatever. But there are times where I'm like, oh, I wish I played more like that.
Absolutely.
Or and I've changed it. Well, I don't know if I've changed it. I tend to think of it more as an appreciation of them as artists, as opposed to making myself feel bad about it. Like it's like a love for their art more than it is. Comparison's a killer. Yeah,
it really is. Yeah. And the thing is too, that I've been learning the more that I've kind of dipped my toe back into the creative world, is that we're all so stupidly humble.
Yeah.
We're all so humble. Like, Matt's an incredible songwriter, and he's good at his craft and his technique and is so humble. Noah, very humble. Who did we see recently? It was Einstein's Dreams that we just saw.
Oh yeah, I know.
You should get Eric on the podcast if you haven't already.
He's the one that does all the like science-based
songs, right? He does.
Yeah, I've seen him at Boulder.
Oh my God, he's incredible. He does. They're all songs about like science and birds and extinct populations and things like that. Right. Just like all of the different things with just nature. But like, we just saw them, and they're so humble. Like, he has a song on Spotify that's called It's Okay to Fall. And at this point, it's not the only thing that he has on Spotify. He did post an EP of some instrumental stuff, but It's Okay to Fall for a while was like the only thing that he had that was on Spotify. And like we, after like a month or so of it being out, we saw him, I don't remember where it was, but he played It's Okay to Fall, and Matt and I just started kind of singing the like studio little parts where it's like just like the and you could just, his face lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. He was so happy about it, and like approached us after the show and was just like, oh my god, you guys know my song, like it's so nice. And I'm like, you're so talented. Like, you're so good at what you do. Like, I wouldn't have known about the Good Lord Bird. I wouldn't have known about the Whooping Crane, you know? Like,
that's right. I think, but it's always so surprising. I feel like even bigger artists, that have been out for a while.
Yeah.
I've heard interviews where they're equally as surprised. Like even, who was it recently? I think it was maybe Stuart Copeland or. No, I'm sorry, Brian May from Queen. So he was doing an interview. Mm-hmm. He's like, I still walk in a room assuming no one knows who the hell I am.
That's crazy.
That I'm just like playing guitar in some garage band. Like it doesn't, I think even you look at those big famous artists and you think, oh, they must have some confidence about them that allows them to be larger than life. Yeah, and you hear them do interviews, mm-hmm. and you talk to them, and they're exactly the same.
Everybody. It's all just, oh, you really like my music? Oh my god, thank you so much. That's like, that means so much to me.
And sometimes I feel like that can be, oh, they're just maybe pretending, because there are artists that are out there that are very full of themselves and can fake that thing too, right? Especially like pop artists and maybe that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right, but I think, and maybe this is just me, I work in the mental health field, so I feel like I have like not a better idea of people than you do, but but like I have a good read on people, and sometimes, at least for myself, I can see through that. When there's that like facade to it, you can typically tell there's like their like mannerisms and the way that they speak is just like a little bit different, and I don't know. I feel like you can just you can tell when it's not, but it's genuine.
It's just so it's anytime like I've had someone cover a song of mine. That's an interesting like experience to have someone like locally here. There's a guy, Adam Bressett. I should actually have him on, because he occasionally does like almost like a karaoke thing, but he does like hair metal stuff. He's a younger kid.
I
he's
might
so much
know
fun
who you're
to watch because he
about.
really goes for it. I don't know if he has the technical chops to really do a lot of what he's doing, but he just goes for it.
I think I know who you're talking about. I can't.
But he's done some covers of my material, but it's always amazing.
He's the kid that does Fuck the Money. I might be wrong.
I think he covers
he didn't write Fuck the Money, but he covers it, and the guy who wrote that is also it's so sweet when they're like in the same room. I remember I don't know if you know Brian McDonald. He moved to Georgia a while ago, and
wears glasses, right?
Yes, yep. He does. He is a math man. But the last Boulder open mic that he played before he left, he covered a song of Matt's, and then he covered a song of Laura G's, and Matt and I were in the corner, we were sobbing. Like there's also like the sentimentality of like our friend is leaving and this is someone who means a lot to us, but it was like the second that it registered, like, oh shit, like this is Matt's song, it was just like just burst into tears.
Do you find, I feel like you guys are similar in some ways to me. I really I get attached to other artists very easily, and I find like I can relate to people that it's almost like they don't have any other choice other than to do it. Like they almost wish that they weren't creative.
This is a curse.
Yeah, it's this like constant nagging thing, like you have to do it. do you find yourself being drawn to other creatives more?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think right now it's a lot of what I've been struggling with is just like, I have to learn and I have to be open to learning. And I have to also be okay with the fact that I'm going to suck at first with anything that I do. So when music hasn't felt that great to me, I've kind of gone back into poetry. I've gone back into drawing, and something a friend of mine said pretty recently that really like hit me was like, you don't have to be an NBA player to enjoy playing basketball. You know, you can just enjoy playing basketball, and that's okay.
That's something that I've noticed, especially in the era of social media, because I grew up before that, right? And there was a certain you want to become a big rock star or whatever, right? Like making it, right?
Yeah.
And back then there was actually a possibility of that happening with record companies, the way that worked, where they would they'd come out, an A&R rep would come out and see someone perform, and they'd be like, all right, let's give them a record contract. And basically all record companies are just banks, right? They give you a bunch of money up front, then you have to pay them back, and they usually end up ripping you off and whatever in the end. But I feel like nowadays there's this thing of like, I want to make it.
Yeah.
And that means whatever that means to people, like, I don't know, being a Taylor Swift or being
it's to the nth degree. I feel like at this point with social media, it's like I feel like back in the day it's not that you couldn't see the numbers, but they weren't so in your face all the time. Like we're so like glued to our phones and glued to social media. Like I have screen time on my phone. I have 15 minutes to Facebook and Instagram, and once that 15 minutes is up, you're done. You're done for the day. You're grounded.
Yeah.
And I have to give that to myself, because social media is like the biggest killer for me. That's the comparison killer, is like I see all of these people, and then someone puts up a cool little cover that they did, or like they just put up something up that they've created recently, and I'm like, damn, I haven't done anything. Like I haven't written a song in like 4 years. Oh fuck. What am I supposed to do? You know?
Yeah, I think that, but like I feel like the act of creating in and of itself is so satisfying. I don't like this. At some point, I'm going to make it. Everyone's going to see I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Like I think that's such a it can make you feel really terrible about yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the amount of people that have made it, right? We went to the Grammys in February, right? And there's sections to the Grammys, right? So you have like the lower floor where all the A-list people are, right? And they have
That's
these tables,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
That have like 4 to a table, and there's maybe 30 tables down there, right? So if you think about that, at those tables, the actual amount of performers that are at their tables, because they also have their significant other.
They've got their significant others. They might have like bodyguards or what.
So
I don't know.
There's 30 tables. Maybe there's, I don't know, 20, 25 people that are at that like upper echelon of making enormous amounts of money off of their music. But there's a whole like slew of people underneath that are the musicians that played on the album that aren't down on that floor, right?
Yeah.
That are making a good living doing it, writing songs, that are there are people that are out there making music and broke, living in an apartment but happy making music.
Yeah.
Right? And doing it maybe not even as a career. They have their little side job that's paying their rent and doing all that, but they're also making their art and making their being creative without making it.
Yeah.
And I think you lose something when you in your art when that's the goal.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you feel like that's
and I think that's part of why I've kind of gone into this rut, is that you can't have that. That can't be the goal of your project, is like, I have to make it. I have to get popular. I have to be big, like at the end of the day, it's just, I've been creating for 10 or more years because that's just what I've loved to do, and I think along the way, I know I'm not alone in that, where I've lost that a little bit. And it's right now it's like trying to find the way back of just enjoying what I do and enjoying what I'm creating. And even if I don't write another song for another 5 or 10 years, like I can be cool with being the cover guy for a bit and just play the stuff that I enjoy, you know?
Yeah. I think you can, it's easy to get wrapped up in that, because I think also as a creative, you don't necessarily want to do the soul-sucking day job thing,
Yeah.
right? So you get, especially if you don't have a great job that's doing your supporting in the beginning,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I just don't want to be doing this anymore, and so I need to make it at music, or whatever the thing is,
Yeah.
so I can get out of that, and then just do my art full time, and that can easily turn into, okay, I need to now tailor my art in order to sell stuff, in order to make it out of this shit job, as opposed to making the art that you want to make.
Just because you like making it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that when you leave the making it out of it, and you just make the art that you want, and you do it for you and for, the actual listener, even if it's one little old lady sitting in the front row that you're playing the music to that loves it. And you're making it for that reason, I think the other stuff comes little by little anyway.
Yeah. And I think when you're a genuine person and you're genuinely performing and you're getting your emotions out there and you're sharing your craft, I think you find your people. You find your people eventually, and it's one of those things where I feel like if we're such, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, we're such like affirmative creatures. We need affirmation to really feel like we're doing good in the world. So like for myself, I don't know that my music is good until someone tells me that it is. Or like this song hit me in a certain type of way. Like I go to an open mic, I play what I play, and then I get off the stage and don't really think about it, and I think that's a big thing. Is just like being a person, just being genuine about it.
I believe wholeheartedly that I think the underlying thing for people that are creative is the desire to connect with people.
Yeah.
It's almost like love. It's like being in love, but with I equate like being on stage, especially with a band, with like, it's gonna sound really strange, but it's like having sex with your bandmates when you're married to them on stage, but also somehow having the audience be a part of that. And when it all actually is like, it all works really well.
Yeah.
It's really fucking intense.
Yeah.
And I think that I think the actual craving for the other person to say, or someone to say, I really like that, is you wanting to have a genuine connection, or share an experience.
Yeah.
Right. Because in generally, when you create art, you're creating it from some sort of an emotion that you've had,
absolutely,
or an experience, and you want someone to be like, I can relate to that.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that creatives are in. I think the reason why a lot of creatives are drawn to like drugs and alcohol and that sort of stuff too, as we're drinking here, is because there is I don't want to say depression underlying the thing, but there's like a strong desire for connection and to be understood and be part of a community.
Yeah.
Because as a creative, and I'm sure you've experienced this, and I know every creative, like you feel almost like an outsider because you go to school or you go to work and everyone's kind of happy doing that normal day-to-day thing. I go to school, you dress in khakis and whatever, and you just do your thing and you go through
work your general 9 to 5, right? Yeah.
But creatives have this thing that like throws them like, I want
to do something else.
Yeah,
I want to do something more than this. Yeah.
And so you doing that, it's so risky because you're like, I'm putting myself out on a limb. I just need someone to like say, yeah, I can relate to that too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the reason I equate it to like sex is when all that stuff is like happening really well, it's like feeling love.
It's like having an orgasm.
Yeah, but not necessarily the sex part of it. I think it's more like love. It's like a feeling of connection.
Yeah.
like you're in a relationship with the audience and with the band members and
Also,
what have you.
correct me if I'm wrong. I don't play in a band. I've never played in a band, so I don't know if this is true. But I feel like especially if you're playing something and everyone's like playing in time and you're in sync, it's like that connection as well.
Yeah.
It can probably give you that like euphoria, you know?
And I think even for the audience, that can happen if someone's on stage doing something and they're relating to it.
Yeah.
They're getting something from it. This is why you have people that like end up murdering John Lennon. Right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, this person is speaking directly to me.
I don't know how to handle this, so I have to kill you.
No one else in my life relates to me in this way. This person is speaking directly. So they have this like
it's only me.
Connection.
I can only feel that way.
It's strange because you're almost like putting all of your insecurities and what would you call it? You're being vulnerable.
Yeah, you're laying it out on the table
in front of as many. You want to be vulnerable in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah,
it's such a weird thing because
so
normally you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
right. Normally people don't want to just put their vulnerabilities out, but for some reason creatives do.
We have to.
Why? Ryn?
Why? I need to share
Tell
this.
me why.
Why does everybody think I am the all-knowing deity? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a guy.
But so let me ask you this. When you first started getting into music, how long have you been playing guitar and did you play any instruments before?
So, okay, I've dabbled in a lot of different instruments over the years.
Kazoo? You ever done the kazoo?
I did actually play the kazoo during a show at one point recently. I started on the keyboard when I was 12 or 13. When I was younger, my parents, because I was pretty close in age with my sister, were like a year and 10 months apart. When during Christmas they would get us two different things so we could be able to enjoy them on our own and we could also enjoy them together. So we weren't trying to fucking kill each other over whatever it was. So
I have siblings. I know.
So when it came to video games, one Christmas I got a PS2 and she got a GameCube, and then another year she got a guitar and then I got a keyboard. She kind of let that guitar collect dust and I went fucking buck wild and went onto YouTube. I can't remember the name of these. God, people are gonna know what I'm talking about too when I talk about this, but like you'll look up like a certain song and then it'll show you, like it'll have the keyboard and then the colors come down and it's the chords that you're supposed to play.
It's like Guitar Hero, but for the keyboard, right?
Yes, basically. I can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but I just went, whatever song I wanted to learn, I would do that. So when I was 12 or 13, I was listening to like Mayday Parade and a lot of like really angsty alternative shit. I was 13, you know.
Yeah. So what was your music genre then?
God.
Because you're way younger than me. So what, you were 95, right?
98.
98.
Yeah, late 98.
I was 18. I was 18.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was jail, you know. In the system by then. I was on the streets.
How old was I? 98.
On the streets. 98. You were like
Math.
3 or 4 or something. So what was your... So was it like emo stuff?
Kind of, yeah. So,
because when
I've
you were a
listened to a lot of different things. But I also I had older parents, so I have a lot of different influences. Like
were they hippies?
My mom was, in a way. Like she liked the Beatles, she liked Presley, she liked Michael Jackson, she liked a lot of different things. She also liked a lot of girl country. It's so funny listening to people talk about the music that they like, and they're like, I like all music except for country. That's a fucking lie. At least for me. I can get down to some girl country. I can get down to like Shania Twain, Faith Hill, like that type of gritty, like, you cheated on me, so I'm gonna key your car and tell your bitch to fuck off. Yeah. Like, I think for me too, with like the music that I listen to, it also depends on like where I'm at in life.
Don't get her riled up. Sorry. She's got her keys out.
Let's go, girls.
Yeah, she's got her keys
That's
out.
the only. Okay, let me say that is the only time that I will ever. I'm real in with my femininity. Let's go, girls.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's the beginning of some song.
Yeah. Wah, 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 wah.
See, I am one of those people though that I never got. I liked like Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
There is a few like Little Big Town. There's a few songs.
It
like
sounds familiar, but I don't think I've ever heard anything.
There's a song by
Yeah.
them. Like there's a couple like few, but I think growing up in Queens, there wasn't a lot of the country thing going on there.
That's fair.
There's a lot of like hip hop and
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah, I am just a mosaic of like all of the people that have interacted
So
with
you got
me.
a little country girl in you.
Little country girl in me,
right.
but also I listened to a lot of like alternative stuff when I was in my mid-teens. Like I was listening to a lot of like Mayday Parade. God, I'm trying to think of like who I was listening to around that time. God.
Celine Dion. No, that wasn't.
It's like Sleeping with Sirens, Pierce the Veil, Bring Me the Horizon, like
Deep cuts. Ring.
angsty shit.
Were you angsty when you were a teenager?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with like the cliques that happened in the 90s, right? So you had like there was certain groups of people like in that teenagehood thing, right? So you had like the goth people, right? When I was always friends with everyone. I was this weird like they always called me the funk people, like the people I don't know why they said that. It was like because I didn't
Instead
care.
of the floater, you're the funky man.
Oh, yeah, who was it? Maybe that was it. Maybe I just didn't
Hey,
use enough.
you're funky.
But there was like the goth people, and then you had like the kind of people that were into sports, and
Yeah.
and then you had like the heavy metal guys or people, and you had like the super popular girl cliques. Like what? I don't know how that changed because I kind of stopped looking at that. I feel like things. What if you were to put yourself into a clique and who you hung out with?
I was the weird kid.
Yeah.
I was with the weird kids.
Was there a group of weird
Oh my
kids?
God, absolutely.
So
yeah.
you don't have to expose names, but what when you say weird kids?
Oh my God.
What kind of kids are we talking
Well, we were all kind of different flavors. A lot of us we were really just like broken kids that came from different broken households. We were a lot of just like really fucking sad kids that found connection through kind of being sad together. So a lot of them were.
Are most of them creatives either then and now? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of the connection was like through music. Like style wise, I don't really. We were all just kind of little punk kids that like people didn't really want to hang out with.
Whatever.
I also went to Odyssey, which was at that time kind of in the mid 2000s to 2010s. Like Odyssey was still a pretty like prestigious school, so a lot of the cliques that we had were either you were into sports or you were in the musicals, and if you weren't, you floated somewhere else in between that. There were like other cliques that did kind of manifest, but
that just brought something to mind now about why maybe creatives end up being creatives or attempting to do or create a clique, a group of people around them that are creators. Because like if you're on a sports team, right, you have your team, and you have connection with them, so you can all relate around this thing. I feel like the weirdos, I'm part of the weirdos too, putting myself in this, the weirdos, they're all so disparate. Like every one of my friends was so different than me. It wasn't like we were very all sports people. It was just we were all weird in our own way. Like some people were just, I don't know, it was like the overweight kid that didn't fit in, everyone made fun of, but he would be part of our crew because he was just like you felt like you didn't fit in anywhere else. So
Yeah.
and I wonder if that desire to create spawns from that a little bit.
It might. For myself, I know a lot of it just came from the fact that you made a joke earlier where you're like, I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
I am very sensitive. I am a very sensitive, emotional person.
I put on a strong face.
Yeah, I gotta put on a good facade.
Every little thing. Yeah.
I know.
I'll dwell on it for weeks.
I used to make jokes when I was still working in
Years
retail. When I still worked in retail, it would be a joke where it's like Ryn cries every day. It's like I don't cry every day anymore, but it's pretty frequently.
Oh.
But yeah,
You gotta let it out.
Yeah, it's healthy.
Some Tori Amos and a little, I do it every once in a while.
Absolutely. You just gotta.
You probably don't even know who Tori Amos is, do you?
I do, but I can't think of anything.
I'm that old, yeah.
I'm not good with names. I'm so I can think of faces. I can't think of names. And I couldn't tell you
Great
like
piano
what.
player, great voice she's got. You should listen to Tori Amos, actually. She's pretty good.
I'll listen to her on the way
I wonder
back.
if she's still making music, Tori Amos. She must be. I mean, I haven't heard of any.
A while. Maybe like the last 5-10 years. I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
But I'm just interested in, because I feel like that's why I also find myself in the rooms that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that, like, you too, like you because you're hanging out in the same rooms that that I am too. Like I just I don't know. What do you see? What do you see yourself, I guess, going towards? Do you find yourself? We talked a little bit about, okay, I'm going to make it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's not really necessarily an ideal goal.
Yeah.
Like if you were to say 5 years from now, with my art, with my whatever, what would you ideally like to... Fair enough.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
We're going to move on now onto the next segment.
No. I have just kind of fuck around and find out. Just like like figure out what works and just kind of getting back to that space of being able to create from my emotion,
I've got something for you. Can I impose
Sure.
You're
gonna impose a goal on me?
I'm gonna impose a goal on you.
Okay.
Is that okay, Matt? Did I do that? It's very
Oh God.
yeah. So
Don't impose anything else, Patrick.
during the Two Truths and a Lie, you said you have not left the country.
Yeah.
And that was a truth, yeah?
Yeah.
So I would say,
I'd love to leave the country.
yeah.
Do you have
your passport?
I don't. I need to get my passport.
It's a pain in the ass to do it.
Yeah, we were looking into it a little bit.
Highly recommend get your passport and just go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then don't have a lot of plans. I would say don't go to Central America. It's
Okay.
probably a little, just be careful if you do that. But get your passports and just go somewhere other than the United States. Because the United States can be very... it can set your expectations of what the world is like in ways that is not healthy.
Yeah.
Right?
I could see that. Yeah.
But I'm going to impose... In 5 years... I hope that is one of the lies.
I hope
is
so
that you
too.
have not left the country.
You know what?
How about that?
Even then, we'll have gone out of the state a couple of times by then. We're going to California for a wedding in October.
Where in California?
Paso Robles. Yeah. Noah and Karina are getting married, and they are.
Noah and Karina.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. They are like a fairy tale couple in real life. Met on a train, fell in love, moved to California, and built a house together.
Started a vineyard. Lifetime movie.
That's your next goal, Noah and Karina. Build a vineyard.
All right, so
get a farm.
So
have some farm animals.
Next time, if we're still doing this podcast in 5 years, at that point, I hope that's one of the lies that you say, and then I'll know. And then I can win one finally. 5 years into the podcast.
Got you, Ryn.
That's right. But we are getting the time warning here from the beautiful producer, Allie Mae. So I know you're going to play something for us here.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to still do that?
I am prepared.
So let's cut to this camera here, Allie. You can go ahead and grab your guitar there.
Yes.
Again, I want to thank our sponsors for sponsoring the episode. I want to thank everyone for watching and listening and spreading the word. If you have someone that's an artist, a creative, or a musician, especially songwriters, I do like talking to songwriters, please let them know that we are looking still for guests. So have them reach out to us. Thank you all for your support. We do have a Patreon, which for as little as $1 a month, $1 a month, you can help keep the show going, and we can continue to have wonderful guests on and have them share their art with us. Thank you again to Seed and Stone for sponsoring the show. Thank you to our guest Ryn for coming on the show, and thanks Matt for coming out, drinking some cognac with me and hanging out. Allie, as always, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Allie.
And what's the song you're gonna do for us here, Ryn?
Hold on, I moved the microphone. So this song, like I said, I'm gonna make you fucking cry.
All right. Singular tear.
a single tear will fall down. This might be one of the most recent songs that I've written, which is sad to say in itself because it's been probably like 4 or 5 years. It's called 1111. It's a tribute to my friend Jeffrey Jezanowski. Oh my goodness, Jeffrey Jezanowski, JJ. Who passed away from a drug overdose. So I wrote a tribute to him. Every morning and every night at 11:11, he would post something on Facebook that was just like, 11:11, make a wish, be grateful for what you have going on in your life right now. And that always just like, that meant a lot to me. And that was a big death that really impacted me other than like my mom, you know? So after he passed away, I wrote a song called 1111. Yeah.
None of us are indestructible. If you have issues with drugs and alcohol, just go get
Talk
help.
to someone.
Yep. Especially, like I said, with our, with creatives, that tends to be something that that we lean into to like kind of get away from that feeling of we're alone. And lean into the music and the art more.
Absolutely.
Than the drugs and the alcohol, if I can say anything. So Ryn.
Yeah.
1111?
1111
is the name of the song.
Yes. You can find it on SoundCloud. I have it up there. It has a very, very beautiful young picture of Jeffrey Jezanowski attached with it. And
sexy young man.
Yeah. He was probably like 17 in that picture, so don't say that. So just to be clear, he's dead and he was a minor.
We'll cut that out at the. Yes, we will cut that.
Cut it hard. Cut it.
I'm sure he was.
Cut that out, please.
A handsome young man. Set me up, Ryn. Set me up. All right. Well, let's go ahead and hear it and
let me know how much you need me.
Hopefully,
to move
I don't
this.
cry too much during.
Yeah. I need help. I'm not good at these. Okay. All right. Just because you're laughing doesn't mean you're not hurting. And you may be smiling, doesn't hide your suffering. I make a wish when the clock hits that time. Maybe if I do, everything will be fine. Why did this happen to me? Took away a piece of my family. Yeah.
Ryn, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's not make it just 5 years when you come back.
Okay.
How about this? The next time you have a song...
Yeah.
Well, I put some reverb on you.
Yeah.
Next time you have a song or a piece of art... as a matter of fact, I'm going to... Do you have any poetry that you'd be willing to...
Nothing shareable right now.
How about this? Next piece of art you want to promote, you just let me know.
Okay.
We'll have another conversation because this is actually very, very, very good.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, I knew it was going to be a good conversation.
I'm really surprised. This was really nice.
I'm very surprised at how good this went.
Wow,
I was expecting it to be shit. But,
I was expecting you to be
just from
fucking dumb. You're actually intellectual.
I'm pretty stupid myself, so No, but Ryn, thank you for being on the show.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. Next time you have something you want to talk about, you want to promote, come on the show again, and I'm sure our audience would like to have you come back on and talk to them. So, thank you again. 11:11.
Yes.
11:11.
A tribute to Jeffrey Jesnowski.
Yep. How can people find you?
Everything's kind of really old at this point, but you can either find me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. It's either Ryn Noel or Ryn Sparks. Either iteration is where you can find me. A lot of my music is going to be on like YouTube and SoundCloud. So if you liked what you heard, you can find some really old shit. I don't look like this in a lot
Yeah.
lot of it.
You go on MySpace.
God.
Go to myspace.com.
Go to AOL.
Go to the chat room in AOL Messenger.
God.
And
Go to ymail.com.
Ymail. Jeez.
Rochester.rr.com.
Was that a thing up here?
Oh my God, absolutely.
My dad still has it.
Yeah, I didn't get to mention this, but I worked at Sprint for 5 years, and yeah, it's like a Roadrunner email. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's like whatever the email is at rochester.rr.com. I don't know if those emails even still work. Do they?
Yep, my dad.
Jesus
They
fuck,
must-
they're
they must
functional?
work,
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know where.
Just like Yahoo.
Yahoo.
that's
But I
same.
still have an old Yahoo account.
Yeah, so do I think.
Send my spam
Somewhere.
stuff to it.
Everyone has. I have like 16 emails.
I have so many.
So,
I have an
very
email-
specific, like where I use them,
Yep.
so that spam could go to specific ones.
I genuinely have an email that is sparksjunkyard@gmail.com, and that's whenever I go
relevant
into the
junction.
mall and they're like, "Oh, can you give me an email for promotions?" and I'm
Pro
like,
tip.
"Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
pro tip.
Sparks Junkyard."
That and Google Voice. You can get a free Google Voice number. So if you ever want to give someone a phone number and you don't want them to
Absolutely.
have your actual
Yeah.
phone number and harass you, Google Voice. But Ryn, again, thank you for being on the show. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you everyone for watching and for listening. Again, thank you, Allie.
Yeah.
Thanks for being so patient and chilling over there and drinking some cognac. And we'll see you on the next episode. Who's on the next episode? Oh, I think we've got a very special guest coming on the next one. That's going to be a fun one. Now, maybe I won't announce it, or announce it yet, but yeah.
Those dates are mixed up.
Yeah, no, I think that date. Oh, that date might be messed up. Yeah, that's true. All right, but
Cut that out.
Lots of special, fun guests coming on. Thank you again. Later, guys. Until the next one.